Hi all, thought I'd have a game in the afternoon. So Phela 2296. French defense. Okay. F4 here I think. So I've got the aggressive pawn chain with E5. I think I'll play G3 here. Okay, and I'll get my king, I think, to G2 to try and avoid this diagonal. So after this check, I'm going to move King G2. So really, it's about reinforcing this pawn chain without getting tactically murdered in the process. So that move might be very dangerous. I think I should take to try and exploit some potential weaknesses. I'll take the F pawn. Okay, and hopefully, you know, after knight takes, I should still be okay. Just so King G2 here maybe. Okay. Knight 8, knight E2. So maybe I've got knight G3 to H5 to F6 if I'm lucky. Guess it's worth playing A3 if given the chance. But then Queen B2, do I really want to lose that B pawn? I think here it's okay to play A3. I'll go for it there. Because with the B7 pawn, if it takes Rook B1, and I guess the opponent's heading for F5 now, so maybe knight G3 is a good idea. So renewing this idea that I might play knight H5 as well. But B2 is on. I guess he could take on B2 now. Also F4 is on, which is more controversial. Bishop F4, knight H5 though. Maybe to F6. I don't know if that's dangerous for black. Hopefully it's okay for me. Okay, so if the bishop moves, knight F6, and the king's moved there. So what about bishop E2? This bishop B5, rook E1. Starts to get a bit tactical. Okay, knight F6 here. I guess I've got rook B1. I'm hoping that's dangerous with the idea of rook takes B7. So that knight's good in attacking here on D7. Maybe there's bishop B5 here. Check doesn't seem that harmful. Bishop B5. Try that, I think. I guess Queen A2 check is dangerous. King G1, Bishop E3 is mating. So I think I have to go to Queen E2 here. Allow the exchange of queens potentially. But I think I've got a nagging edge here, or I hope so. Not Rook C1, but okay, maybe Rook B1, then Rook C7. So H4 worth playing, trying to get control of E5. E5 play H4. I think I'll go for that. Maybe try and play H5. Okay. So is H5 any good? Knight retreats. Maybe Rook H4, trying to evict this bishop from control of E5 is a good idea. So Rook H4, bishop moves, then the other knight coming to E5. This is often a decisive move, literally a decisive move I've noticed in the French. If you can get a knight E5 in, it's often a very, very good move. Strategically, it's very good news. But here I'll be losing the G5 pawn, so it's not Let's not celebrate victory just yet, if I do get it in. Okay, and in fact this A pawn makes things tricky. So knight e5, bishop g5, but there's knight f7 there, so actually this looks to be playable, but I suppose there's king c6, knight e5, bishop g5, knight f7, king c6. Okay, I can try and, I don't know, play rook g4 though first. a4, knight e5. I'll go for that, even though this pawn is looking exceptionally dangerous. Okay, knight e5 now. Maybe king f3. Oh, I haven't even got rook g1. So rook b1 is going to be one of the only moves to stop this pawn soon. I'll do a rook a1, but oh dear. There's king f3. The bishop moves, then rook g1. It's getting a bit tense. Okay, I'll try king here first before doing anything else to try and get rook g1 in. So rook g1 is now possible. What about bishop b5 as well? Bishop b5, bishop takes, knight takes f7. Or just, I don't know, rook g1, a3, rook b1, friends, rook b6. I think that's very interesting, so I'll try that, because at least it's stopping the a pawn potentially as well. So rook b1 here will be a little surprise move. So with the idea of rook b6, so bishop d5, rook b6 is mating. These knights are fantastic on these dark squares. It's just this little time bomb of past a pawn is the issue still with. It's giving me very little time to hang about. If rook a6, I think rook b6, and just rook to a6 will give me a bit more time. Okay, so here, if I take and then take on d7, I think that looks pretty good, to take on d7. Aha, right, so that's looking promising. That I've just gobbled a piece, but okay, if I go to knight f6, a2 though, that's the problem. So knight f6, a2, I mean I could play rook d1 I guess, to stave off the pawn. This is anything stronger than knight c6, bishop e5. I think rook d1 to try and just sacrifice the rook and then play knight takes d7 again. So am I going to get another move, or is king d? So this pin's fantastic. So a1 queen takes, knight takes d7. It looks kind of crushing still once these knights start working on the dark squares. So off the draw. So obviously I don't think he's that confident about his position. Let's see. Okay, so if I take on d7 now, I can perhaps come back to f6 if he allows it, or even knight c5 now. Knight c5, rook takes c5, trying to get into c1. I think, pardon me, rook d7 is mate, so I'm going to go for this. That rook d7 is actually threatening mate, so I'm stopping rook c1. Now here, I believe rook d7 is mate. Excellent, it is. That's a good game, I think, if I say so myself. Let's have a quick look. So, close Tarrasch, but with this early queen b6, he's stopping me from playing bishop d3 and king e2, which is some earlier successes on 5-minute. So my king's crawling to a safer location, but I'm having to give up e5 because of this very aggressive undermining move. And I was hoping the dark squares could be exploited, which they were later. It's a bit of a compromise. These pawns look a bit fragile. On the other hand, this knight G3 to H5 to F6 is dangerous here, it seems, after losing that F4 pawn. So getting the rook to the 7th was great news. Exchange of queens was still, it's still interesting. And now this idea of getting the knight to E5, I think it really is a common strategic idea in the French, that the French is weakening dark squares, and the key dark square is E5. So getting a knight to E5 was just fantastic. Huge tactical implications now, like on F7. So the problem was though this A pawn, and so I'm glad this seemingly huge blunder here, allowing knight takes and rook takes D7 would have been mate. So that one piece. So now this threatening mate again, which he missed. Please leave any comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.